everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is day 4 of Vlogvember and you're probably thinking, Joel, why are you sat on your antique chair in the corner of your bedroom? Hello, come on then. Oh, do you want to join in the Q&A? Yeah. She hears me talking, she runs straight upstairs. So if you follow me on Instagram or if you're a member on this channel, today hasn't looked that much different to yesterday. So I thought instead of vlogging the same day, I would do something different. So I thought I'd do a Q&A. So I've got my laptop and I've got my phone because I've got obviously questions from Instagram and questions on YouTube. I've been so busy today, guys, that I haven't had a chance to even look at them. So I have no idea what type of questions you've asked. I said to people, don't be afraid to make them juicy. You can make them juicy. I might not answer them, but at least they're there and I can pick them and be brave. Should I get a gin and tonic for this? I feel like I should. I'm back. This feels very indulgent. Guys, I don't know if I like this setup. Okay, I think all I needed to do is bring my chair in closer. Sorry, you're probably thinking, Joel, get it together. Come on, just crack on with the questions. Right, I've got this rhubarb gin liqueur with some tonic water. I love it so much. Do you know what? People get offended when I drink gin and tonic. You guys who've been with me from the beginning on the Joel Lia channel know that Prosecco is like mine and Lia's drink. So I get people being like, gin and tonic? What about Prosecco? And I'm like, I know, I still love Prosecco. Prosecco's up there with gin and tonic. I'm British. What's more British than gin? Like, I have to like gin and tonic. Right, let's find these questions. There's been 19 questions on there, and then goodness knows how many on Instagram, probably hundreds. So let's start with the YouTube channel members. This is a good question from Lauren, who says, if you could go undercover and completely integrate into an American subculture, which of these would you choose? A Texan cowboy, California Hollywood, Pennsylvanian Amish, or Wyoming wilderness mountaineer. All of those are appealing to me. However, realistically, I think it's the Wyoming wilderness mountaineer. I've watched Jeffree Star, who has bought a cattle ranch in Wyoming, and he owns cattle and yaks, and he's got a yak ranch, and I'm like, what a life. That would be really nice. And Wyoming looks lovely, so yeah, I think that one. Basically, I'll paraphrase this, but I'll flash it on screen. Raymond says, basically, we've all got our coming of age stories. How was your process leading up to your acceptance that you were different? I mean, how long have you got, Raymond? I mean, I'm worried that this video is going to be so long. To give you like a potted history of it and to make it really short, my acceptance of myself, rather than, you know, coming out to other people, my acceptance of myself was a very long process. I think I didn't really know that I was interested in boys until I was about maybe 13, 14. And from other gay people that I know, they said they sort of knew something that was different when they were like 7 or 8 years old. For me, it wasn't like that. Like, I honestly either had no attraction or for a long while I was attracted to women. Growing up, my parents can tell you that I was like obsessed with boobs. I used to sneak into corner shops and look at the page 3 girls. So in the UK, page 3 had topless women models in them. And I used to go and look at them, and I know it was in a sexual way. It wasn't in a, ooh, cool, they're fabulous. It wasn't that. So yeah, it was very odd for me when I started getting those feelings. Ava, stop making so much noise. I wish Ava could talk and do a Q&A as well. That'd be so cute. Nathan says, I was wondering how you're adapting to filming yourself in public. Do you know what, Nathan? I thought about this the other day. I was vlogging, I kept filming whilst people walked past me, and I was like, I'm so brave. So I'm vlogging, and whilst I'm talking to you guys, I'm thinking in my head, oh my gosh, someone's coming towards me, someone's walking towards me, should I put the camera down? Sometimes I chicken out, depends what I'm talking about. Sometimes I put the camera down and I start again when they're gone. Other times, like recently, I've just been like, no, they can listen to me chat, who cares? They're gonna hear like a tiny bit of my vlog, and more people are gonna watch my vlog than are seeing me vlogging right now in my real life. So I've gotten a lot better at it. Maggie, you're gonna get me into trouble. Maggie says, what's Keegan's most annoying habit and who said the L word first? So you're gonna get me in trouble for 2 things. Firstly, talking about his annoying habit. I feel like I should do this with him present. So I won't answer that side of the question because I feel like that's a fun question to do with him here because he can't defend himself. The L word, again, I'll get into trouble because I think he did, but I sometimes remember things wrong, so maybe he thinks I did. But I'm pretty sure, I think he said the L word first, and I was like, I just didn't want to say it first. Now, I've had a lot of questions about Keegan's kids and about my role in their life and all that. I will be honest, I feel uncomfortable answering these questions online for thousands of people purely because they're not my children. I don't know, it's just different. Like, fair enough, Keegan can do it because they're his kids, but it feels weird as a newcomer into this family to sit here in front of thousands of people talking about the kids, especially because they're so young. So I don't know. I don't know whether to answer these questions or not. But on the whole, yeah, the relationship is great. I love his kids. They're amazing and they're really funny. I get along with them really, really well. But yeah, the questions about like, do you feel you have a sort of parental role? If you don't mind, I'm not gonna like answer that. Just because I don't know how to put it into words. It's just because they are not my children. I feel weird talking about them online. Do you know what I mean? Maybe one day I won't, and maybe one day you'll meet them on this channel. Who knows if they want to be involved. But yeah, right now it's not my decision to make. Ashley says, what YouTubers do you watch? That is not a basic question, Ashley. That is a really good question. Some of my favourites. Tyler and Todd. I love them. A gay couple who live in the Canadian wilderness and they bought a patch of land and they've been making it their home for the last however many years. It's really interesting, really recommend them. I love anything to do with like people building a life or a house. So I love the Chateau Diaries with Stephanie, like she's bought a big chateau in France. I love the Pethericks and doing it ourselves with Michael, and like they're just brilliant. I love watching them restore the old chateau and now the convent into, I mean, whatever it's going to end up being. I really enjoy Carrie Hope Fletcher's vlogs. She's really entertaining and I find her life fascinating. I love Kelly Stamps. She's an American YouTuber. She lives in the state of New York or Connecticut now. I'm not sure. I love her. Her vibe is exactly what I want to be, and I know I will never be the same vibe as Kelly Stamps because she's iconic. But I just love her. Yeah, I probably think of loads more. Like there's loads of people I watch and love. So yeah, I'll probably think of more, but I'll let you know as and when they happen. Hollybeth says, are you actively going out on acting auditions? I'm not at the moment because I haven't really had any. Lots of auditions now are done via self-tape. So they ask me to film myself acting on camera. However, all of my auditions so far have been for commercials. I've had a meeting with my agent about it. They're doing all they can. They're submitting me for auditions. It's just casting directors aren't auditioning me for whatever reason. I'm not catching their eye, so I'm not even getting the chance to audition, which is a real shame. So I'm working on trying to develop relationships with casting directors through workshops and through emailing them and introducing myself, just so they give me a chance, because right now I'm not getting any chances in the acting industry and it's really hard. It's only a matter of time, hopefully. Michael, this is a good question, especially for anyone who's not from the UK. What are the differences between Northerners and Southerners? Oh, guys, there is a big divide between North and South in the UK. This is coming, bear in mind, this is coming from a Southerner, so I could have it wrong. Again, I should do this with Keegan, but we've spoken about this, so I kind of feel like I know his perception. I've got a few Northern friends, especially Rachel, she's one of my best friends, and she's from the North, and so we've spoken about this like all the time in person at university, getting into arguments over it. So basically, in the North, they hate Southerners. They're really like, ugh, Southerners, you're so snobby, you're so this, you're so that. In the South, we don't think twice about Northerners. Like, the Northerners don't even enter our mind. We're like, we don't hate Northerners, but we just don't think about them. It's a classic thing where we think Northerners have a chip on their shoulder. Now, Keegan has explained this to me, and it makes total sense. The North has been the bottom of the priority list for every government that's been in power for the longest time. They prioritise the South. The infrastructure, the money, everything has been ploughed into the south of England, and London particularly, and the North has been abandoned. And so politicians have basically done really bad things to the North. I can't list them all here, but lots of them would be like closing the mines and the industrial stuff. Basically, Northerners feel like Southerners get all the good stuff, and policies are made with Southerners in mind, and the North is ignored. That is changing. In terms of characteristics, Northerners are definitely seen to be more friendly than Southerners, despite that. Despite them being like, ugh, Southerners, they're so friendly, they're so welcoming. It's basically the opposite way round to the US. So I've heard in the US, the South is hospitality. The North is cold and like not very nice. It's the other way around in the UK. Southerners, we're seen as like cold and not very friendly. Up North, they're really friendly. My friend Rachel, when I went for dinner with her the other week, she was like, I cannot believe you're dating a Northerner. She was like, after all this time, you're literally like, I can't believe, and she's become a fully embedded Southerner. I love it. I love the differences. I love the Northern accents. There's so many of them, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful part of the country. Lots of these are about Keegan, so again, I might save them and do a Q&A with Keegan. Kelly says she'd love to hear more about me as a child. That is probably a video to have with my parents, which I wanted to do for my members, but yeah, I'll see if I'll do that soon. But I've also got some home movies. I might be able to put in some footage of me as a child. Let's move on to Instagram. Do you believe in astrology? I don't, but I like to play up to it. Like, I enjoy the silliness of like reading horoscopes and being like, oh, I'm a Libra, so I'm like this. And part of it makes sense. Libras are indecisive. I'm so indecisive. But no, ultimately, I don't believe in it, but I love everything to do with it. Tiffany says, your channel with Lia has slowed down. What's going on? I don't know how to answer this one. I should probably answer this with Lia. Otherwise I might get in trouble. We're just sorting stuff out at the moment. Don't worry, nothing bad is going on. It's just life is so busy for everyone right now in the build up to Christmas. As a content creator, this is the busiest time of year for all of us in the run up to Christmas. Both Lia and I are really, really busy, but we do have some more content coming soon. You just have to stay tuned. I don't really know how to answer this one. Can you chat about how your YouTube career has evolved and your thoughts on the changes? I mean, the biggest evolvement is going from just doing Joel and Lia to now doing Joel and Lia, those two Brits UK, and my solo channel, plus Instagram, TikTok, everything. That's the biggest change. I think the hardest part is when it becomes your job. I was thinking about this the other day. When it first became my job in 2018, for the next like year, I woke up every morning with a smile on my face. Like, I'm not exaggerating. From setting my alarm for like 5, 6 a.m. and working a job I hated until 10 p.m. at night and just literally working so hard for minimum wage, the fact that then I could wake up whenever I wanted and no one was telling me what to do, and I was able to do things that I enjoyed, filming and editing and like doing that for a living. I was in a constant state of gratitude and like, this is amazing. That has worn off. It's like 5 years later, or 4 years later, whatever, and that has worn off. And not because I'm not grateful for it, I am, but just because I'm used to it now. I wake up and I'm like, cool, yeah, this is normal. So I'm trying to get back some of that gratitude. Every day I'm telling myself like, wow, I'm so grateful that this is my job. I could be sat in an office right now doing something that I really hate. For me, office work is not for me, and I'm not. And I'm able to film my life and have fun and like edit, and like it is hard work. Like, it's a lot harder work than people realize, but it is fun. It doesn't feel much like work to me because I really, really enjoy it. So yeah, I don't know if that's answered your question, but yeah. No one has ever said this, by the way. Love your style. Any style vlogs in the near future? That is so kind of you. No one thinks I'm fashionable. Literally, I can't think of anyone that's ever complimented me on my style. Everyone says that I need help. But thank you. Here's to you, kind viewer. Oh, the mortgage malarkey. I've had so many comments. Do you know what? It's really wound me up, that video, because I've had some condescending comments. They're probably well-meaning. So basically, there's been people that have said it with this tone. They've been like,
oh, Joel, what a mistake. You shouldn't be on a variable rate. You should be on a fixed rate. Get yourself a 30-year fixed rate mortgage and you'll be fine. Lesson learned.
And I'm like, the sentiment is fine. There was lots of people confused going, why didn't you just get a 30-year fixed mortgage and don't be on a variable, be on a fixed. That's fine. It's the tone. It wound me up because I'm not on a variable rate. I even said in the video, our 2-year fixed is coming to an end. And people still, for some reason, didn't hear the word fixed and they're going, oh, you're on a variable. I'm like, no, I'm not on a variable mortgage. So one thing I've learned from that video is in the US, it's done completely differently. You can get 30-year fixed mortgages. 30 years! So jealous. Obviously, if we had access to a 30-year mortgage when we got our mortgage when it was like 1.5%, we would have done that. But that doesn't exist in the UK. 2-year and 5-year fixed mortgages are the norm. You might be able to get a 10-year fixed at a push, but nothing more than a 10-year fixed. I don't know why. It's probably the UK banks, the Bank of England, wants to get more and more money from people that are, you know, remortgaging, but that doesn't exist. We had no choice. We could go for a 2-year fixed or a 5-year fixed. We went for a 2-year. Maybe we should have gone for a 5, but whatever, that's done. Our 2-year fixed has come to an end. We are about to sign for another fixed mortgage, another 2-year fixed. We've managed to get one. We've managed to get as good a rate as we can get. It's nearly 6%. Our mortgage is basically doubling in price, but it's okay. We can make it through. We're lucky enough that we're in a privileged position where we can both afford to pay that mortgage. I don't want to afford that mortgage. Like, I don't want to pay it. It's as I said, it's pretty much doubling. And so now the thought of paying double for the same house is like, what? That's not fair. But it is what it is. I can't help it. None of us can do anything about it. The mortgage rates might come down at some stage. But yeah, that is to be continued. Ooh, how does the skin of a gorgeous gay thing such as yourself survive the winter? I might be a bit drunk. I've only had 2 sips. That just made me laugh. Basically, guys, vitamin C serum every single day, moisturizer every single day, and factor 50 SPF every single day. No question. I mean, sometimes I do forget SPF, I'll be honest, but mostly I don't. Who gets recognised in public more often, you or Keegan? Oh, I think definitely Keegan. I think he does. I mean, he gets recognised a lot, and lots of people don't remember his name, so they'll be like, oh, you're that gay rugby player. But when I get recognised, it's less often, but when people recognise me, they know everything about me, which is because I put my whole life on the internet. So it's very interesting watching both, because yeah, Keegan gets recognised by lots of gay guys who are like, oh, I know you, you're that guy, you're the gay rugby player. And they all fancy him, which obviously, because he's hot. Whereas with me, people are like, oh my gosh, Joel, how's Ava, how's Lucy? Oh, I love your videos, your weight loss journey was incredible. How's the house going? What's the renovations like? Like, it's like being grilled, which I love, by the way. I love chatting to you guys about everything that's going on in my life, in your life, whatever. But I love it. I love seeing him get recognised by people. And because he is an inspiration to so many people, coming out as the first gay rugby league player, like in a sport where no one else has come out since. It's like, yeah. Ooh, dropping my phone. So another one about Keegan's kids. I feel like I can answer this one without feeling too weird about it. Were you nervous dating someone with kids? To be honest, not really. Like, I honestly felt so chill about it, and I think it's because, I mean, this sounds so cringe, but because I love Keegan so much. I hate myself for saying this. I don't like being lovey-dovey publicly. I'm very lovey-dovey privately, but publicly I don't like it. But because he means a lot to me, it wasn't even a, like, there was no... I told Keegan about this. I was like, everyone asked me about this. Like, my friends, my family, my viewers, like, everyone's like, oh my gosh, how is it dating someone with kids? And, like, I honestly don't know. Because I had no preconception. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, he's got kids, what am I gonna do? Equally, I wasn't like, yes, he's got kids, that's the best thing ever. Like, there was no extreme reaction. I was just like, oh, you've got kids, cool. But was I nervous to meet them? Yeah, I was. Because obviously, like any parent, your children are your life. You know, it's like in The Parent Trap, when Meredith is like, it's me or them, take your pick. And he's like, them. Like, if they didn't like me, if they hated me, that would probably influence Keegan's decision on me, because he wouldn't want to be with someone where the kids and me didn't get along. But thankfully, that's not the case. We all get along really well. But yeah, I was nervous. But to be honest, I think they were nervous too. I think he told me that they were a little bit, yeah, nervous to meet this stranger who is seeing their dad. So, yeah. There's a few questions about Christmas trees here. Have you and Lucy talked about a Christmas tree and decorating? And someone else said, when will you start putting the Christmas decor up? You know what? I think I'm going to start next week putting some Christmas decorations up on the house. I'm going to start with a wreath on the front door. You have to remember, if you're from the US or Canada, we don't do Thanksgiving here. So I know for lots of people from the US, it's sacrilege to put Christmas decorations up before Thanksgiving. We don't have Thanksgiving. We Brits, Christmas is all we got, guys. So let us have it. Jay says, have you decided on which car to replace the Mini Cooper with? BMW fanboy here. Yeah, BMW is my new fave. I never even thought about a BMW until literally a few months ago, and I really like their X series, which is like the SUV series of cars that they have. So yeah, I'm leaning towards that, or a Volvo. I really like I think it's an XC60 or something. Anyway, it's a big Volvo. I'm not sure. I've kind of put it on hold because I don't get another car until May next year. I'm just gonna wait to see, because obviously it depends on costs and expenses, and I need a bigger car. Like, I need a bigger car. But whether or not I can afford a bigger car will be another matter. Oh, this is a good one. I've never been asked this before. What do you like about yourself? It feels cringe, doesn't it, answering something like this? But I feel like this is the journey I'm on, and we're all on, is to like self-love and like accepting yourself. So what do I like about myself? I like that I'm goofy and I'm not like other people, and I know that's, again, it's so cringe to say, because it's like, oh, I'm not like other girls, I'm really cool, like they say in movies. But no, I genuinely feel like I'm a bit weird, and I love that. Like, you will never catch me out in a club every Friday and Saturday night, like partying. You won't even catch me out every night socializing with friends, going for dinner parties and stuff like Lucy does. Lucy's a social butterfly. I just like my own company. I like being in my house with my dog. I like being up north with Keegan. Like, I just enjoy spending time with my family. Like, I'm literally a little hedgehog in my nest, just with the people that mean the most to me. Do you know what I mean? I love that about me. Physical attributes. That's really hard. I'm grateful that I've got straight teeth. I mean, I don't love my teeth in terms of like, you know, I've got some gaps in the side. But in terms of straightness, I've never had braces, ever. And I've always had dead straight teeth. So I love that, and I'm grateful for that. Someone said, do you read the books you collect? I do read a bit of them. I don't read them front to back like I would with like a modern book, because mostly they don't grab my attention. Like, lots of them are written in a way that, not Old English, because Old English is like ancient. They're not written in a way that grabs my attention. So I love to read it and appreciate the language that they used to use and how they'd string massive long sentences together. But essentially, no, I don't enjoy reading them. It is for the aesthetic, I suppose, and the history. Like, I absolutely love opening the book and seeing, like, that someone's grandma in, like, 1898 wrote, "To my dearest Eleanor, Merry Christmas." Like, I love that. Like, that book tells a story. It was given as a gift from someone's grandma to their grandchild, and like, it's the history of it that I really love, and they're beautiful. The old books, no one does books like that anymore. How do you cope with the stress from so much traveling? I don't. I've had quite a few breakdowns. I'm not one for traveling. I hate traveling, whether it's in my own country back and forth to people's houses, Keegan's house, my mum and dad's house, filming with Leah, whatever it is, or whether it's international. I hate it. I don't enjoy it. I like travel to be a supplement to my life. A holiday, a vacation, like 2 or 3 times a year, going away, keeping it fun, keeping it interesting. I hate traveling. I'm a home bird. I like my house. I know you guys have coped with me complaining a lot, and especially my members, so thank you for sticking with me when I'm whinging about how stressed I feel with all the traveling. For some people, that wouldn't stress them out. For me, it really stresses me out. So the last few months have been really tough, tougher than I let on to you guys. Like, it's been really, really hard. Because I also feel like I'm letting people down. I feel like when I'm not here with Lucy, I'm letting Lucy down. When I feel like I haven't seen my parents in a few weeks, I'm letting them down. And then, like, I'm not, you know, if I haven't pulled my weight with Joel and Lia stuff, I'm letting Lia down. And then when I'm not with Keegan, I'm letting him down. And then I just feel like I'm living my life for other people sometimes. Not all the time, but because I worry so much about what other people think. So I'm trying to be selfish, but in a good way, and go, no, if that person is sad because of XYZ, it's really not my problem. Like, I'm just doing what's best for me, and I'm not deliberately being mean or unkind. I just have responsibilities, and I have to execute those responsibilities. So I don't know if that makes sense. I'm probably saying too much now. I've probably offended everyone in my life that's like, why are you saying that? Ultimately, I finished that, gosh. Ultimately, I wouldn't do anything I don't want to do, but it doesn't make it any less hard doing it. What's your least favourite thing about this job? That's a really good one. My least favourite thing is probably the trolls and just the nastiness of some people. Like, it's really, really horrible, and it's draining, and it's what makes me want to quit and like stop making videos and live a quiet life. Yeah, I think as well, like, it's the obsessive people. Like, again, I feel arrogant in saying it, but it's not arrogant, it's just true. There are some people out there who are absolutely obsessed with me, and it makes me really uncomfortable, because they're not obsessed in a nice kind of kind way of like, I love you so much, like I love your videos. It's obsession over what I say, when I say it, how I say it, like what I'm doing. Like, I don't know how to explain. I've had people find out my address. They deliberately go hunting for my address, and then they send it to me as some sort of like, trying to prove a point. I don't know. Why are you trying to scare me? Like, what are you trying to do? I have people that get way too involved in my life. Considering I'm a stranger, they get so invested. Like, not just invested where they care about me, like most of you guys who are normal people, but to the extent where they make up stuff. Like, it's as if I'm a soap opera and they forget that I'm actually a real human being, that they make up rumours about me that are completely outlandishly not true, or they pretend that, I don't know, it's very weird. And as you guys know, on the Joel Lia channel, we spoke about how we got catfished by some woman who wanted us to, like, she faked having an apartment for us to rent. This was when we were both poor and looking for an apartment, and she was like, well, I've got one in Soho, why don't you rent it from me? And I won't go into it, but it's things like that. It's the weirdos out there, the psychopathic people that freak me out, and I don't like it. It's also the overtly sexual people, the people that, like, even now on the Q&A, there's loads of questions I haven't read out of people being like, I'm not even going to say it because I don't want to make this video X-rated, but you can imagine they're asking inappropriate questions that, why do you think I tell you that? Like, sorry, I'm getting passionate now. That it really, especially over the last year, it's really grinded me down. Sorry, I don't want to get upset. It's just the people that overstep the mark, and they make me feel uncomfortable. Sorry, I did not think I would cry in this video. Maybe it's this. I mean, it's one drink. It's probably not that, but it's just something I've been struggling with recently, where it's just like, I don't understand human beings. Why can't you just be normal? Why can't you just be normal? Like the majority of you out there who are lovely, normal people who just go, oh, I like this guy. I'm entertained by him. I'm interested in him and his life, and I like watching him. And then you click off the video and you get on with your day. I don't know why everyone can't be like that. Like, and this is the thing, it's not just the hatred. I get people telling me I should kill myself and all these things, like, whatever. That's also not nice, but it's the people that make me feel uncomfortable and make me worry about my safety, my friends and family's safety. And the sad thing is, I know it will only get worse as my channels get bigger. I know that actually, I just get scared because I'm like, I want to grow on YouTube. I want to reach more people. I'm also aware that the more people that I start to reach, the more this is going to happen. And the more creeps that are out there that are just going to keep doing whatever they're doing. Whoa, that's deep. Let's move on. Good girl. Moving on to Ava. Someone said, what's the worst thing Ava has ever done? And I will finish with this question. There's loads more on here, but maybe I'll save them for another time. This video is already far too long. The worst thing Ava ever did, we went on a cliff walk. So we went walking on a beach, and then we climbed a massive hill, and basically it was a cliff edge to where the beach is, and the cliff edge had a fence, obviously. Obviously it's very windy up there, and so I think she couldn't really hear me, and so I was shouting at her because she was getting close to the fence, and she went under the fence, found a hole, went under the fence and started running. I mean, luckily it wasn't like a cliff face like that, it was like that. And she went running down, but there would have been a sheer drop if she went running. And I was like screaming at her. I was with my friends at the time and Lucy, and we were like screaming at you, weren't we? And then luckily you scrambled back up. And I've had another dog, another family dog did that. We went and there wasn't a fence. He just dropped off the edge, and luckily there was a little ledge underneath that he clawed onto. But I honestly thought I'd lost him. My parents did as well. We were like devastated, and then he was fine. And she's done a similar thing. So yeah, that's probably the worst thing you've done. Don't do that again. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm sorry for getting upset. I really don't like getting upset in videos. It makes me feel very vulnerable. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe, do all the things. I'm gonna go downstairs and make my dinner. Bye.